Hello friends, thank you for joining us on TNT as we check out all the main news stories from around Thailand as we sort of work out what the Monday news cycle is going to be. Very early Thai time, around about 8 o'clock Sydney time, so it's 4 a.m. in Thailand, and we'll upload this as soon as we get the show finished, so it'll be very, very fresh for Monday morning. Pouring with rain outside as I speak to you, but enough about the weather. Please subscribe to the channel if you do get a moment, and we'll get stuck into today's stories. Now, of course, as a resident of the island of Phuket, very interested to know what's happening with the road there, and there's quite a lot of contradictory news and information about that road over the weekend. Let's see what the media is saying. This from The Nation: Phuket highway hit by landslide may be unrepairable in blow to tourism. The story says the Phuket authorities say it will take several days to discover whether the highway, I mean, they really got to use the word highway very loosely here, running inland from Patong beach to Katu is repairable after a landslide. It says the road, which was closed to traffic last Wednesday, leads from the coast to the tourism destination of Patong Hill and has economic significance to the southern island. Well, there's no doubt that Patong and the island of Phuket generally is a big money spinner for tourism in Thailand, and they want to get this road fixed. Whether it can be fixed or not is still up for grabs. Further on, the landslide ate into a 500-metre section of the road. I've seen that variously reported as 50 metres, 100 metres, 150, 200. Never seen it reported as 500 metres. It's not that long. He said the road was built on a soil slope that had been undermined by heavy rain since last week. Just one of many roads on the island that have been undermined, to say the least, including landslides on the road from Kamala into Patong, both are popular west coast seaside destinations. Also the bypass road, the main road that travels through the middle of the island. It's got a hotel sitting on top of not much at the moment, given that most of the soil from under the hotel is being washed away onto the highway, and everybody driving past must be looking up at that abandoned hotel, wondering if this is the time that hotel is going to end up on the road underneath. Here's some pictures of them doing their soil surveys on Friday. Now they've come back, and here is part of the report. And that report basically says that the whole hill continues to be unstable at the moment. Officials are coming up with all sorts of ideas of ways to try and semi-open up the road, including allowing cars to park before the closed section and after, depending on which way you're coming to the hill, and then allowing people to walk through and get picked up by taxis, motorbikes, whatever. Because some people do rely on the hill, not just to get into the tourist town. Thanks, kids. Kids running amok in this little restaurant, but it's breakfast time and that's fine. So they're doing their best to try and keep things at least semi-open so that at least locals can get around. Some people need to get to the Patong hospital. Some have to get to school. It's not just tourists. So this closed road causing a lot of problems today. Now, this story reported by Bangkok Post: damaged Katu Patong Road reopens to pedestrians. So that happened yesterday. They reopened the road to pedestrians to walk through a safe part of the road. And this says that the flood-ravaged road from Katu to Patong reopened for pedestrians yesterday. All vehicles remain barred. Then it says the Phuket governor allowed commuters to travel on foot with officials accompanying them to ensure safety. That is a lot of human resources, as I'm not sure how long that situation is going to continue if they're going to have officials escorting people through what they consider the safest parts of the road. Then it says officials expect the road to be reopened for vehicles in a week. Drivers are advised to take secondary roads to Patong down the bottom. The current weather in Phuket is dry. So the situation there very fluid, a bit like the sandy soil that the road's built on at the moment. It won't be open in a week. It's probably going to take at least half a year to get something which we would call a reliable and safe road completed so vehicles can get back over the top of it. Onto some other floods around the country. Floods will last for at least 3 more weeks in central Thailand. The life in the central region should return to normal by mid-November, as runoffs are expected to start easing soon. This is from the National Water Command Centre, and the Deputy Director said yesterday that the forecast was based on the current level of rain and water discharged from big dams upstream. And down the bottom, he's saying that in the north, central and northeast regions, they're hoping that the dry season will start soon. I'm absolutely sure they are. So the flood situation around parts of Thailand still quite a problem, especially villages and towns near rivers, near some of the bigger dams are still being inundated. And even in Phuket, where it's been fine weather for a few days, they're still battling to get food to some of the affected communities. And congratulations to Phuket Hotels Association, 5-Star Marine, Living Waters Phuket, all the volunteers and all the hotels that have been getting together to get food to all those people. An amazing response. So congratulations to everybody concerned. Another little story from Phuket, and search underway for a Russian woman who's been missing from a Phuket hotel for 3 days. This is up at the Naiton beach on the west coast, and I would have thought that this time is not a good time of the year to be swimming in Phuket. Thai police in Phuket province looking for a female Russian tourist who's been missing from her hotel for 3 days. Her relatives have offered a US $10,000 reward to anyone who can provide information. 53-year-old Elena Ratnenko was last seen on a Naiton beach on October the 20th. I think the big clue to this story comes in the 5th paragraph, where it says a Russian friend reportedly told friends that she went to the beach with Elena at about 10 a.m. on October the 20th, and Elena had entered the sea to swim alone. So I think we all can see the fate of this 53-year-old Russian woman. Those northern beaches along the west coast of Phuket, they fall away quite quickly and have a very savage shore break during the southern monsoon. Certainly beaches you shouldn't be swimming unless you're a very good swimmer, and that probably applies to most of the west coast of Phuket. I'm not sure if this beach had lifeguards. I don't think it does. So good luck with the searches as they continue today. This is the TNT program. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do so right now. This is the TNT program, and we're going to talk about cannabis now, because the bill is still waiting to be discussed by Parliament. There's been many changes. The whole situation's become ultra political, and nothing to do with the liberalisation and commercialisation of cannabis and hemp. It's now all to do with votes, be assured. And just over the weekend, they've tried to clarify at least some of the multiple parts of confusion. Now, I feel very sorry for those people that have gone and spent good money to open up little shops, or much bigger money and start to invest in commercial crops, because the legality of what they're doing at the moment is really got some huge question marks. And if you've invested a lot of money, I'm sure you would like some clear answers from the government. Thai PBS World says 3 edicts issued to tighten controls on the use of cannabis in food. This is cannabis in food, just to clarify. Thailand's Ministry of Public Health has issued 3 edicts concerning the use of cannabis and hemp, including cannabidiol and THC in food and seasonings. Here they are. So here we go. This is 1, 2, 3, and I'll try and sort of summarise these. To the first one, in seasonings, the amount of THC must not exceed 0.0032 weight, and the amount of CBD must not exceed 0.0028 by weight. I mean, how are they going to possibly measure these? I imagine if you got a sample and took it to 3 labs, you'd get three completely different answers. We're talking about minuscule amounts of these chemicals, THC and CBD. So I'm thinking that this is all smoke and mirrors. They're trying to introduce some sort of clarification, which will only lead to even more confusion. Number two, the second edict concerns cannabis seeds. The control on the amount of CBD in cannabis seeds used as food, in cannabis oil and cannabis protein is lifted, but control on the amount of THC remains in effect. And number three, the third edict specifies that CBD, which is mixed with other substances which are not harmful to health, can be used as ingredients in food products. So the Public Health Ministry has issued clarification, which I don't think really provides any clarification at all. And I think the elephant in the room is still the recreational use of marijuana, cannabis, hemp, whatever. And people want some clarity about what they can grow, what they can sell, and people who consume these products want to know what they can do legally. It's as simple as that. And if they can't clarify that soon, then I think a lot of people are going to get very upset, and it'll be lawyers at 20 steps. To our next story today, this one from Cowside English, a good story about a gentleman called Tono. And this was quite controversial last week, whether people thought he should be doing this charity swim. But Tono, a popular actor, started his charity fundraising by swimming across the Mekong River on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And we'll go to the next part of the story, which is from yesterday when he was all finished and wrapped up. And Tono Pakan, an actor who started a charity fundraising bid by swimming across the Mekong River, has successfully crossed the Mekong after 1 hour to a rapturous welcome by Laotians at noon on Saturday. And then he swam back to Thailand. He's from Khon Kaen, which is up in the northeast of Thailand. It says here that more than 36 million baht have been raised for 2 hospitals, one in Thailand and another in Laos. But there's been some differing reports in different media. The Bangkok Post saying actor Tono completes 15-kilometre charity swim across the Mekong. The Mekong River must be much wider up that part of Thailand and Laos than I thought. 15 kilometres, surely not. And it said that donations approached 60 million baht, which is more than the money reported in the Cowside English report, for public hospitals supported by the event. The 36-year-old Khon Kaen native staged the swim to raise funds for the Nakhon Phanom Hospital and a hospital in Khao Mein province in Laos under the campaign banner One Man and the River. Speaking before the swim, Tono said the activity had given him a better understanding about the meaning of sacrifice, giving and love and unity between Thai and Lao people. So congratulations to Tono there on his charity swim and raising so much great money, goodwill shown by a lot of people there throwing money at the need to raise money for these public hospitals. It reminds me of Toon from Body Slam, the very popular singer and athlete who did a charity run from the very, very south near at the Malaysian border up to the very, very north. So went south to north to Mesai district up at the Myanmar border, and he ran some 2,200 and something kilometres and also raised money for imaging equipment for public hospitals. So well done to these celebrities who can use their fame and their influence to raise much needed money. To Pattaya now, and famous entertainment venue in Banglamung raided on Sunday morning. Hundreds of tourists flee. A popular entertainment venue called Club One Pattaya, were you there on Saturday night, was raided in the early hours of Sunday morning. A number of drugs were found and confiscated while roughly 200 Thai and foreign customers escaped. And it said that a drug examination was conducted on all customers. But did they catch them all? No. I'll read this next paragraph from the Pattaya News. But while the officers were examining, one male customer began shouting and refusing to be inspected. There's always one. Then chaos began when hundreds of tourists tried to push through the guards' defence and fled from the scene to escape the inspection. Due to less officials than customers, most tourists managed to slip away. Oh, wish we had a camera there. I'm sure there probably is some CCTV camera. And as usual, an entertainment venue manager was initially detained for further interrogation. Hasn't been named at the moment, so probably hear more about that. But yeah, a bit of a difficult situation when you've got 200 customers or patrons at a venue and only a handful of police to try and control the situation. Another story from the Bangkok Post today. All systems go as the summit nears, reminding you that we've got the APEC meeting coming up in 2 or 3 weeks. This is actually going to be a big media story, not only because of the names of the people who are coming, but also some of the reaction from both Thai and, I predict, foreign people who will, I think, come to Bangkok to protest on this. We'll see. With the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit just weeks away, the PM has ordered all agencies concerned to ensure things on the ground will run smoothly. I was quite interested to know which particular agencies and what things he wanted to see run smoothly. And I was thinking security and parking and traffic flow, but it ended up being things like catering and soft power and things like that. The government's just declared November 16th to 18th a special public holiday. Don't get too excited. Only in Bangkok, Nonthaburi and Samut Prakan to ease traffic during the summit and facilitate security protection for the APEC guests. The Permanent Secretary for Transport said on Friday that the Ministry is working closely with the Foreign Ministry to bolster security measures for the world leaders attending the summit. This, I think, is the key component of Bangkok pulling off a successful APEC meeting. Some 38 aircraft will be arriving for the APEC meeting, and Airports of Thailand has begun working with the Foreign Ministry to accommodate them. Next paragraph saying that Thai food has always been a key asset in the country's soft power, and the government plans to showcase some of the nation's finest cuisine at the summit. And well, wouldn't they? And we'll obviously get a better detailed list of exactly who's coming to this conference. There's a couple of big names, though, that I think if they come are going to cause quite a lot of stir and take away, a lot of the good PR that Thailand's trying to generate from this APEC conference coming up in some 3 weeks. That's all we've got time for on today's TNT, coming to you from this quite noisy little breakfast restaurant, but it's been a pleasure delivering the news to you today. If you get a moment to subscribe to the channel, it would be much appreciated, and we look forward to doing it all again tomorrow.